Hello friends, this is Sanjay. In this video, we will discuss about the factors contributing to learning, that is personal and environmental factors, which is part of the Karnataka TET CDP syllabus for paper 1 and paper 2. This is going to be a relatively simple topic because you'll realize that many of the concepts that we will talk about have already been covered in some of the previous videos. So this video is like a revision of many of the previous videos. We'll start this video by understanding what are these factors which contribute to learning. Then we will look at personal factors and environmental factors such as physical, social, media. We will discuss about how can we create an ideal learning environment. And we will end this video with some sample questions from previous question papers. So let us get started. First of all, what are these factors contributing to learning? A better way of understanding this topic is think of all the factors that can affect learning. And factors which affect learning positively are factors contributing to learning. But in this topic, we will also be looking at factors which negatively affect learning. Now, factors such as weather, the curriculum, course material, books, the school infrastructure and facilities, the family, the social background, cultural background, the teacher's personality and teaching methodologies, influence of friends, peers, classmates. So all such factors can affect learning positively or negatively. So in this topic, we will be looking at many factors which affect learning either directly or indirectly. The factors that contribute to or affect learning can be divided into two main categories. There are personal factors and environmental factors. Personal factors are internal factors. These are all inside us, whereas environmental factors are external factors. These are external or outside influences. Now, environmental factors can be further divided into three main categories. There are social factors, which are people related, and there are physical factors, which are other factors which are not people related. And then there is media as well. Now, media is a mix of both people and other factors. In the next few slides, let us take a detailed look at each of these different categories of factors that affect or contribute to learning. Let us start with the personal factors. Now, these personal factors are internal factors. These come from within us. Now, if you look at this list, all of these are concepts that we have discussed in some of the previous videos. Now, age and maturation will definitely affect learning because when a person becomes a little older and becomes a little mature, they probably take learning a little more seriously and will pay a lot more attention to what is being taught in the classroom. Health of the learner definitely affects learning. Intelligence will affect how fast the learner can pick up something, understand something. And emotional status, interest, aptitude, attitude, heredity are all factors that we have discussed previously. And in one of the recent videos, we also spoke about how motivation, that is intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, is also very, very important for learning. Therefore, these are all personal factors, that is internal factors which contribute or affect learning to a large extent. Moving on to the environmental factors, that is the external factors. First, let us talk about the physical factors. Now, natural surroundings plays a very important role in the comfort of the learner. If the weather is too hot or the weather is too cold, then the learner will be too distracted and that might affect the learning process. And the school environment, such as what kind of infrastructure is there, what kind of facilities are there, will also definitely affect the learning process. And situational factors, such as what is the learner's current situation, that definitely affects learning. And learning resources, this might be books or this might be other teaching material. So these also affect learning to a certain extent. So these are the physical factors or the other factors. And in environmental factors, we also have social factors, that is people related factors. Now we discussed previously that family plays a very important role in the learning process. What kind of encouragement the family gives, what kind of environment the family provides. So that is very, very critical in the learning process. And if you remember Vygotsky's theory, then social factors and cultural factors are also very important in the cognitive development and also in the learning process. And the teacher, that is the personality of the teacher, the kind of teaching methodology that is used, and the kind of relationship that the teacher has with the students, all of these play a very important role in the learning process. So these are social factors. The third category in environmental or external factors is media. And in media, we have people related factors and other factors as well, because through media, we interact with people and we also interact with other content. Now, media grabs our attention, it shapes our opinion, right? It plays with our emotions. Therefore, media plays a very, very important role in the learning process. It can be traditional media such as the print media, or it can be normal websites, or it can be social media where we are actively interacting with other people. So media these days plays a very, very important role in the learning process, especially since all learners are always connected through our phones, through our laptops, through our desktops, through our tablets. So we are living in a connected world. So among all the environmental factors, probably media has the most immediate impact in the learning process. And finally, how can we create an ideal learning environment? In theory, this is very simple because we already know that there are several factors that can affect the learner and the learning process as well. These can be personal factors, natural, physical, teacher-related, content, process, social, cultural, or media-related factors. And we know that all of these factors can affect the learning and the learner in a positive way or in a negative way. If we identify which of these factors are affecting the learner and specifically which of them are affecting the learner in a negative way, we can take the corrective action or the preventive action to minimize the negative effects. By minimizing the negative effects of any of these factors and by maximizing the positive effects, we can automatically create an ideal learning environment. But in practice, this is quite difficult because to identify which factors are affecting the learner and how they are affecting the learner, we have to pay individual attention to each learner. And each learner can have different factors affecting him or her in a different way. So identifying the specific factors and the specific ways in which these factors are affecting the learners becomes very, very important in creating an ideal learning environment. Next, we'll solve some sample questions from previous question papers which are connected with this topic. The first question is, which of the following is an environmental factor which impacts learning? Now, environmental factor is an external factor. Now, if you look at the options, attitude comes from inside us, comes from within us. Motivation is also an internal factor. Personality traits is also an internal factor. School is an external factor and an environmental factor. Therefore, school is the correct answer here. Which of the following factors is not responsible for students' failure in academic performance? So here there are 4 factors and we have to identify which one of them is a positive factor because the negative factors are responsible for the student's failure in class, whereas the positive factor is not responsible for the student's failure in class. Now, boredom, stress, and fear are negative factors, whereas curiosity is a positive factor. Therefore, curiosity is definitely not responsible for students' failure in academic performance. The next question is asking us that children's engagement with learning in schools is influenced by which of the following factors. So here we have been given 4 options and we have to identify which of these factors can influence learning in school. Now, the first one is socialization by the family. We already discussed that family plays a very, very important role in the learning process because the kind of environment that is provided, the kind of support that is provided by the family is very, very critical for learning. And peer relationship is a social factor. And then we have cultural factors or cultural values and self-esteem, that is an internal factor. Now, all of these can influence learning to a large extent. Therefore, the correct answer is option 3, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next question is asking us, should a teacher be considered as an authority figure within the classroom who cannot be challenged? So this question is asking about the kind of relationship that a teacher should have with the children in the class. Now, you had some very strict teachers in your school and in your college who are authority figures, who are not open to being challenged, who are not open to being questioned. So how would you interact with such teachers? Now, even if you had some doubts, you would not ask those questions in the classroom because you don't want to make the teacher angry. Right? So you would keep your interaction with the teacher to the bare minimum. So if a teacher is an authority figure who is not open to being challenged, who is not open to being questioned, then students will be afraid to ask questions. And if students have some basic doubts about the concepts that they are learning in the classroom, they will not ask any questions. So if they have misunderstood something, or if they have some gaps in their understanding, they will continue with that. And that is definitely not good for the teaching learning process. Therefore, should a teacher be considered as an authority figure who cannot be challenged? No, because students are afraid to ask questions from such teachers, which results in lack of conceptual clarity. So option 3 is the correct answer. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you have any questions or feedback, please put them in the comment section below. And I will see you again very soon in the next video of this series. Till then, take care, stay safe.